Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Live Free Now show. I'm your host, John Bush, bringing you the news, views, tips, and tools you can use to live a free, prosperous, and healthy life. I want to thank you for joining me on the program today. Here shortly, I'll be joined by the one, the only Rebecca Bush, my lovely wife and business partner. And we are going to be talking a whole lot about the Exit and Build Land Summit coming up. And we'll talk about the exit and build philosophy and strategy in general, how we can take proactive steps to create a life of freedom, preparedness, resiliency, or better yet, anti-fragility. And then I'm going to get the link to our guest here just right now, but we are going to be joined later on in the show by Jordan Page, a good friend of mine from a long time ago. So it's great to be reunited with him. Jordan Page is a musician, a Liberty musician, and he is going to be performing at the Land Summit. So you probably heard the Exit and Build Land Summit is taking place at PolyFace Farms, which is really exciting. That's Joel Salatin's PolyFace Farms in Swoop, Virginia. And we're going to get to really just immerse ourselves in the entire world of Joel and everything that they do out there as far as regenerative agriculture goes. Really excited to be doing that. Of course, he has been a cornerstone of the Exit and Build Land Summit. He was our keynote speaker for the very first Land Summit, and then he spoke at the second Land Summit. Then we took a Joel break for Land Summit 3, but we brought Joel back for Land Summit number 4. And now, once again, Land Summit 5 is actually going to be at his place. It was actually his idea for us to go out there and do the event there. So really excited for all of that. I want to shout out folks that are joining us. Of course, we do the YouTube live stream. And then for those of you that are podcast heads, shout out to those of you listening in on the podcast feed. We usually get the podcast edited and produced and popped up there shortly after we wrap up. But for those of you that haven't subscribed yet, let me share the link there. livefreenow.show is the website for the podcast. livefreenow.show is the website for the podcast. And that is where you can subscribe to the program and join us for that. Okay, so definitely want to encourage you guys to check out the website there. Let's go ahead and head over to exitandbuildlandsummit.com, and we can talk about what we got going on there for the event. Again, it's taking place May 23rd and 24th. That's May 23rd and 24th, and you'll be able to be immersed in the Joel Salatin world. Exitandbuildlandsummit.com is the website. So definitely check that out. And I hope that you'll join us out there. We got a really awesome lineup of speakers that are going to be there as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at who we got speaking. Of course, we got Joel Salatin. Well, let's go ahead and click speakers here. We got Joel Salatin, the one, the only, but not just Joel. His son, Daniel, will be joining us as well. Joel and Daniel, quite the powerhouse father and son duo. And it's really cool because the PolyFace farm itself has quite a bit of history. That's right. PolyFace was founded. Well, it wasn't founded, but his parents Joel Salatin's parents bought PolyFace farm and started really regenerating the place. It wasn't started on regenerative agriculture principles, but they definitely dove into that as soon as they could. And it turns out that Joel really took things to the next level, monitoring, mirroring, learning from his parents. And then, of course, Joel played a major role in really putting regenerative agriculture out there to the world and making it what it is today. So that's pretty cool. I'll be speaking, of course, and emceeing the event along with my lovely wife, Rebecca Bush, who is the producer of the event. She does a lot of the boots on the ground stuff for the in-person events that we do. And then River and Amani, who have a really cool private realm community in Tennessee, we're always excited to have them do events with us, because I tell you what, they have really made it happen in really fast time, what they're doing. They were able to acquire a 200 plus acre property, and not only just acquire the property and do the farming thing like most people do, but they actually have built the whole thing using the Trinity model. That is a 508c1a ministry. So they have a ministry of nature, and there is a PMA, private membership association, and a trust. The land is held in trust, which is pretty cool. So really excited to have them join us. There's a ton of people that are living on the property as well. And I think they're really doing it and setting the bar high as far as these communities go. So shout out to River and Amani. They're going to be joining us. Really excited about them. And then, of course, we have Nicole Sauce, who's going to be there as well. She is a preparedness expert. She has her own homestead there in Tennessee, and she will be speaking about monetizing your homestead. And then we have Mike Cobb of ECI Development. Just wrapped up a webinar with him about timberlands and investment opportunities and offshores and Plan B. So we're really excited to have him. He's one of the sponsors of the event, along with Melanie Rubin. She's also sponsoring on behalf of Parallel Times. We're excited to have Melanie. She's got a really great way of communicating ideas, especially exit and build ideas. So we're excited to have her. She's also been homesteading too, and just moved to an intentional community. I think it's in Montana. And she's learned the hard way about what intentional community is all about. So we're going to get a raw story from her about what is going on there. So yeah, the speakers are great. And of course, we're going to be treated to PolyFace Farms food the entire time from the farm itself. So we'll get to tour, see the chickens, see the entire operation, and then eat the chickens, which is great. So I think that's really special. There'll be a brunch served and then a dinner served as well. So always excited to be doing this event and to have the folks participate in this. I'm going to pull up a little video that we did more recently that is a promotional video from the last Land Summit. Now, I don't want to make anything confusing, of course, because I think we're talking about coming to the last Land Summit in this video. But I did want to play this for you because I think it gives a great idea of what our event is all about, what the ethos of the event is, and you'll be able to really get an understanding of who comes and all that good stuff. So let me pull this event up. Let me know where you're tuning in from as well, for those of you that are watching on Twitter, for those of you that are watching on YouTube. We'd love to hear where you guys are tuning in from on today's program. Again, this is the Live Free Now show, bringing you the news, views, tips, and tools you can use to live a free, prosperous, and healthy life. And I'm your host, John Bush. We do the show every Wednesday around 11 a.m. Oh, shout out to Catherine Martin. Can't harass John when I'm late, she says. She's always there to hold us accountable. So we do the show every Wednesday, 11 a.m. We may actually be changing the time a little bit, just to give you guys a heads up. We may be changing the time so that we can participate a little bit more in some of the activities that our good friend Bradley Logan is doing. But this is a video that we made from Exit and Build Land Summit 3. And I'm going to go ahead and play it for you guys. Let me get it queued up here. And I'm going to share the screen and share this video so you guys can get a little idea of what the Land Summit is all about, for those of you that are looking to consider and maybe join us. So again, that's exitandbuildlandsummit.com is the website, exitandbuildlandsummit.com. And you'll be able to get tickets there. There's also going to be a VIP day the next day. So let me see some screens that you share audio. Okay. So we're going to do window here, entire screen, share audio. Here we go. Okay. exitandbuildlandsummit.com. This is a video from Exit and Build Land Summit 3. So you can get an idea of what the event is all about. And again, we hope you join us May 23rd and 24th. Here we go.
There is a global government. They are intending to exterminate us, and they want to enslave us. And they're going to do it through technology. and through food control.
I think that the intelligence agencies probably know about this event. Is it a high priority for them? No. I mean, what are they going to care about a bunch of people who are curious about homesteading?
So the Exit and Build Land Summit, it just brings together an extraordinary collection of really world-class speakers who have the kind of knowledge that I think is critical for the sustainability and survivability of human civilization.
Exit and Build is this strategy, really, to bring about change in the world. Rather than yelling at government buildings, protesting, begging politicians to do the right thing, going to the ballot box every 2 to 4 years and feeling like we're honoring some civic obligation, we encourage people to exit the systems they disagree with, exit the systems they find to be reprehensible, and build new systems.
The threats that are looming that we aim to exit is essentially a parasitic, centralized system that is no longer serving us, is no longer serving the environment and the planet. And there has to be a new era of human consciousness that we can tap into alternative approaches to living in harmony with nature and living in harmony with our neighbors, and peace and collaboration and local economy and connection.
Exit and Build is not just about physical location, but it's about exiting from what I consider slavery systems of various types, systems that don't align with our values, that might actually hold us back or limit our freedom, and if not now, in the future will limit our freedom by continuing to be a part of them.
We are at the Exit and Build Land Summit 3, located at the Bastrop, Texas Convention Center.
I'm John Bush. I'm the founder of Live Free Academy, and along with my wife, Rebecca, we host the Exit and Build Land Summit, bringing together people who are looking to exit the cities, buy land, and build community in the country.
The country has been through over 100 years, several like big green, back to the farm, back to the earth movements, and this one seems different.
Our ultimate purpose is to attract like-minded people that care about freedom, get them out of the cities, and connect all these communities so one day we can experience true political autonomy and self-governance.
We are at the farm immersion tours for Exit and Build 3, and this is an integral part of what this event is about, because this is the hands-on application of taking in the knowledge and seeing firsthand how you actually apply it into your own homestead.
Well, the farm tour looks great, you know, and it was fantastic to experience these people showing us homesteading life.
So we're at Habitable Spaces, which is an arts and agricultural focused nonprofit. Everything you see around here we built from scratch on a shoestring budget with mostly salvage materials.
We wanted to get out of the city, and we wanted to keep what we love about New York, which is the flow of people, the diversity of culture. Yes, this is a place of mindfulness when you're surrounded by plants and animals and nature.
We brought you over to the garden where I have some garden beds set up using hugelkultur. So hugelkultur is just a German word that translates directly to hill culture, and it's about how to build your soil up. Rarely it is that people don't want to make a change. It's that they don't know how. So after they come out, after they see how easy it is, how simple that they could do it in their own backyard, how they can grow their own food, how they get their hands dirty, they get a little bit of an excitement, and that's the catalyst that they need.
We went down to the groves to a very large tree. We have about 100 acres of native pecans. If that tree is about 300 years old, and it could be, then the Indians could have been eating the pecans off that tree. Well, you can start learning about farming at any time in your life. I did not purchase my first farm until I was 39 years old, and I never planted a pecan tree till I was 41 years old.
The Exit and Build Land Summit has been awesome, and I would say to anybody out there who's considering doing this next year, do it. You won't be disappointed.
It's been great. I mean, everyone's so receptive. I'm just personally excited just to meet a lot of these people.
A lot of us are thinking the same thing, but it feels great being around these folks.
There's never been a more critical time to make sure you're getting the right information, good information.
Leave school. Get out of school. It's like that's the ultimate answer, is to get away from that indoctrination that starts now today in kindergarten and preschool.
we each have gifts that we can bring to the table. But everyone has different gifts, but when we work together, we can accomplish so much more than any one of us can by ourselves.
You can shape your world to resonate with how you see the world. And I think the more of us that are doing that, the better for everybody else.
It's like, how do we create purpose in the places that we're living, in these new villages, in these new communities that are going to start emerging all over the place?
Most of the old system is just based on, like, if we have the money, the guns, the whatever it is, if we're the government or if we're the warlord, depending on where you're at in the world and when, it's always just been like, no, we get to tell you what to do.
I think ultimately it does appeal to everybody. It's just having the courage to be able to step away from what is considered the norm.
My advice is for folks is to follow your passion. Whatever just lights you up inside is the way.
You're responsible for your own life, for your health, for the education of your children. And so the more you take that on, that's something that we can come together about. And that's what we need to do, is not look at our differences, not fear each other, but how can we work together to make this a better life for everyone?
The government and big corporations want people dependent on them. But as we get back to the land, as we move out to the country, as we connect and trade and work and support one another, it makes it far more difficult to suppress these movements. It's going to eventually be a cat that you can't put back in the bag. All right. Okay. All right. Now we're joined by the one, the only, the Rebecca Bush, my lovely wife and business partner, and the producer of the event. Lest we not forget, audio is a little low, folks said. Did that sound okay, guys? Let me know. Hopefully that was all right.
There's also a link to watch that video that we could share for folks.
On YouTube?
It is on YouTube. I actually uploaded it to my Live
Free with Rebecca Bush.
I haven't been using that page very often.
The world's
recently,
most
but
popular YouTube channel from the most
Hey.
incredible homesteader.
It does have 1,000 subscribers
All
and
right.
going.
Go, Becca, go. Becca, did you want to share a bit about the event and what folks can expect having it at PolyFace Farms?
Yeah. So first of all, this is a huge change of pace for us. Every single year at the Exit and Build Land Summit, we've hosted inside the Bastrop Convention Center, and then the days before, the day after, we'll do immersive farm tours where folks can see firsthand what it's like to actually have food production systems and building out a commercial farm or a hobby farm, gardening, all of that. Seeing it is different than like listening to someone talk about it. So we thought, what better place to host the Exit and Build Land Summit 5 than at PolyFace Farm with world-renowned experts, Joel Salatin and Daniel Salatin as our hosts. I am honestly beyond honored that they are having us. It's a big deal.
It was their idea for us to have it there.
Yeah, and we went for it because the truth is, as the movement evolves, as this desire to return to the land transforms, what people really need is that firsthand experience of seeing it at a farm, learning, how do I actually install electrical fencing? How do I build a pond? Oh my gosh, we've learned that the hard way the last few months.
How not to build a pond. How to dig a hole.
Farmscape design, moving and handling livestock. We're going to have an incredible experience for 2 days at PolyFace Farm in Virginia, which is actually like a returning home for me because that is where I was born. So I'm excited to head on over to PolyFace Farm in Virginia and kind of reconnect with my roots. But all that to say, it was a no-brainer for us. We feel like the movement for exiting and building has really transcended sitting in a conference room and just listening to people talk about these ideas. We wanted people to see it firsthand and get a real understanding of what it takes to have a successful commercial farm. And that's why we're hosting this year at PolyFace Farm. We do have most of the event. We're going to do a really cool farm tour. Oh, do you want to pull up the schedule? We do have some speakers on day 2. All of the meals will be served from the farm at PolyFace. So that's a really nice touch as well. So this is going to be a bit more rustic than previous years. We're not at a bougie conference center. We are at a bougie commercial farm, but it will be more rustic, if you will. Like down to the bring your farm boots and you're using a porta potty and that whole thing. So we're going to get the real deal farm experience. They have a beautiful amphitheater on site. Some of the talks will be hosted there, but most of it's going to be interactive, actually going out into the farm, seeing how they've set things up and really getting that firsthand knowledge and experience.
Did you want to share about the schedule?
Yes, I'm happy to. So first and foremost, this is a 2-day event. So if you're planning to travel, I would recommend flying in. There's a variety of different airports, all listed on the PolyFace website. They have an accommodations tab. We're flying into Charlottesville, SHO. You'd want to get there Thursday and get settled in because the event does start Friday, May 23rd at 8 a.m. sharp. We'll have our friendly group of volunteers and staff greeting everyone. You'll get your lanyard, you'll get your tote bag. And then we do have everything formally kicking off for the first presentation at 9 a.m. So this is going to be Friday, May 23rd. John will be kicking things off, just inviting everyone, welcoming them to the Exit and Build Land Summit, and just discussing the bigger picture view of why we're here in the first place, kind of putting things into context, as well as describing kind of what people are getting themselves into for the weekend. Next up, we thought the perfect way to start off the Exit and Build Land Summit would be to hear from Joel and Daniel Salatin themselves, sharing about the history of PolyFace Farm and really kind of diving into their story. It's really interesting how everything has, been passed down from generation to generation. We're talking about building a lasting legacy, a long-term sustainable vision of land stewardship. And there's no better dynamic duo to share about this than Joel Salatin and his son, Daniel Salatin. And then just to preface things too, they'll be talking about kind of the systems we're leaving behind, why this work is so meaningful and why it is more important than ever to really understand that systems that are becoming obsolete and how we're replacing them with parallel systems that are not only in alignment with harmonizing with nature, but also with one another and every aspect of having a farm and homesteading. We're going to also have a few vendors on site, so you'll be able to see all of their booths and tables. Over brunch, we're going to be eating a delicious meal fresh from the farm, and we will be also inviting folks if they would like to learn about chicken processing. PolyFace happens to do that every Friday morning, so you can get a firsthand look at kind of what that process entails, and so that will be helpful for folks who are thinking about getting chickens, especially with all these supply chain issues and eggs not being on the store shelves. Even if you don't have a homestead yet, or you're just, having a backyard, you want to get some backyard chickens, that will help so you can learn that process. The next portion of the day is going to be a couple of hours. It's a very large property. So Joel and Daniel, we're going to split into two groups. We're going to do an extensive farm tour, and this will show firsthand what it looks like in terms of you have to consider the farmscape design. Where do the roads go? How is everything set up? So we'll be kind of seeing how they've set up all their systems and in real life showing what that looks like. And then we'll return to the amphitheater. We'll have one last talk. We're going to have a late lunch, some networking, and we're excited to be joined by Jordan Page. Yay! Who's actually joining us today as well.
Yeah, we have him. We'll go to him here in just one sec. I see him down there getting all
Hey,
ready.
there he is. So we'll bring Jordan up in a second. He's an amazing musician. I've been following his work for, I think, decades now. Super excited to have Jordan joining us.
He's old school.
And then let's just
he's old school from back when Liberty people actually cared about liberty
instead of anarchy. And then day two,
elections.
we're gonna have Melanie Rubin will be speaking about some of her tips for beginner homesteaders and lessons learned. She's with Parallel Times. We're also very grateful. She's one of our sponsors. She also lives at Riverbed Ranch, which is a thriving community in Utah. Mike Cobb of ECI Development will be joining us. Part of these projects that can be very challenging is seeing how do you sustain the operation, because you have to have financial resources in order to adequately steward land. That's just a part of it. So he'll be describing some ways to have your land being a profit generating machine. Daniel Salatin over lunch, actually, he's going to be doing in the morning, he'll be doing a moving and handling livestock demonstration, and over lunch, he'll be doing an electrical fencing demonstration. We are still working out to have a talk on gardening by Miss Lucinda Bailey of Texas Ready, still working out the details there, so she'll be added into the schedule before Nicole Sauce of Living Free in Tennessee, the Self-Reliance Festival, and of course, Holler Roast Coffee will also be discussing that similar theme of revenue and results, building your homestead into a business. John and I can attest firsthand, you definitely have to get creative with how you're bringing in revenue, or else things kind of stall and you just don't have the financial resources you need to actually get things done. And when it comes to building a legacy, Amani and River of Haven Village, Haven Earth Trade School, could not be a more perfect shining example of doing just that. They've built a private realm village in East Tennessee. We are so excited to hear from them. They're building out hemp homes. They have a beautiful setup, lots of livestock, the garden operations popping, and many residents have already joined. And that's all in the private realm, a private membership association, a trust, and a ministry of nature. And to close things off, Joel and Daniel will be wrapping things up and just really tying in that theme of building legacy and stewarding the land for many, many future generations to come. So we hope that you guys can join us for the Exit and Build Land Summit. And with that, you can visit exitandbuildlandsummit.com to snag your ticket. There are still spots. Let's go ahead and bring on Jordan Page. He can share a little bit about joining us and his awesome music. We always have concerts at the Exit and Build Land Summit, so we're super excited now that we're on the East Coast. Jordan will be joining us.
And there's also the opportunity to get a VIP mastermind ticket too, and we're doing a Sunday mastermind offsite at this really cool, I was going to say swanky, but it's not swanky, but this bed and breakfast spot that's down the road.
It's pretty posh.
It's posh, Virginia posh. So that'll be a great opportunity to really dive deep doing a mastermind with the one, the only, Mr. Joel Salatin. All right, without further ado, let's bring our man to the stage here, Jordan Page. How are you, Jordan?
I feel like I need to address this elephant in the room, which is the fact that neither of you have aged in the last 13 years.
Oh, boy.
It's all the beef tallow. It's natural Botox.
Oh my God, you guys look great. And Rebecca, I love listening to you talk. You sing when you talk. My wife does the same thing.
I noticed that too.
Mary is exactly like that. Like, we're gonna bring him on. It's gonna be great. You know,
I'm enthusiastic. I'm passionate.
She's got
it's great.
A fun
it's great.
intonation. Yeah, man. How are you? You're at a studio today, huh?
Man, I am great. I'm super busy. I'm you know, we've exited and built ourselves. You know, we bought this property up in Washington, and we've developed it, and we're raising cows and, you know, horses and chickens and ducks, and we get about 30 eggs a day for our family, and you know, we harvested our one of our steers back in October, and we're eating the best steaks of our lives, and you know, it's pretty rad. We, you know, our kids are all getting big. We have 7 kids, and they've been raised out here, and they're just, you know, loving life and kicking butt. I put, you know, as far as like what I've been up to, like last year, I put a song out for Ross Ulbricht, who was from the Silk Road case and was given 3 life sentences with no parole, and he was President Trump made a promise to commute his sentence when he took office, but he did one better, and he actually gave Ross a full unconditional pardon, which was much more than we had hoped for. And I had put a song out last year to support Ross. It's called Free Ross, and so I was very, very pleased about how that turned out. I'm like the biggest project I've got going on right now is I'm building an online blockchain and AI based or AI powered, I would say, homeschool network. I'm building a homeschool platform with all the tools and community building features that people need to be able to homeschool their kids and unplug from the public school systems. It really is a system that's being designed to supplant and replace the government-run school systems, so that people can get their kids out of there and educate them according to their own values. You know, we've been homeschooling our kids for, I guess, like 13, 14 years now. And we've really seen it all. My wife is actually now a licensed teacher here in Washington. And so she's sort of heading up the education portion of this. I'm heading up the tech and just running the business. But we're really excited. It's called Firefly Education Network, and it's basically meant to connect people all over the world. We have amazing features where we're able to translate what people are saying in content videos and translate it from any language into any language speaker's original voice.
Looks like we lost JP there.
I'm
There he is.
back!
Oh,
Yay!
You kind of froze up.
Oh, God. Sorry, guys. Where'd you lose me?
You said you got the ability to translate stuff. Sounds like.
Okay. Then you only lost me for a second.
Not for a sec.
One of our features is the ability to translate video content from any language into any language, and then in the speaker's original voice, and dub their mouth movements. So it's you speaking, but you're speaking in Mandarin or Arabic or Spanish, and it makes us international right out of the gate. So we're opening it up in June for beta testing in anticipation for a fall launch. It's very, very exciting and ambitious project. There's going to be a crypto blockchain component where we have a reward system to financially incentivize students to achieve academic mastery. So it's really like an entrepreneurial approach to education, which has never been done before on a grand scale. So we're very excited about that. We think that's going to be a big draw. And yeah, it's a great project. It's like you got it on the screen right now. Fireflyedu.org is our site where you can sign up to be on our waiting list to get in first, and then the site will go live in June for our community.
Congratulations.
Yeah, that's awesome. You were working on this for a while before AI turned into some huge. It as a natural fit to work it into the program.
You know, you broke up there for a second, John. You said I heard you say you've been working on it before AI, and then you cut out.
Yeah. You've been working on this project for a while, and before AI was like totally prominent, accessible through ChatGPT and all sorts of platforms. Was it just like a natural fit? You're like, wow, this will take our project to the next level.
Big time, yeah. And the tools have been exponentially increasing in value since in the last like 3 years. And so we've been able to incorporate so many more things to be assistants. Now, parents are still the primary educators, not an AI system, but AI tools as tutors and as helpers, for parents and for teachers to generate curriculum and to refine their courses. All of that is in there, and it will be a huge help to our users. So, I mean, ultimately, you still want the human education experience. But these are just tools to enhance that experience. Yeah.
Let me see. What did I do here? Okay. What do you say to folks in our freedom community? Because a lot of people in our crowd are, they're liberty minded, or some of them may not even have fully come around to the philosophy of liberty, right? We got started with the Ron Paul revolution. So the philosophy was at the forefront. But a lot of people woke up after COVID and learned about the Great Reset and the New World Order, and they still haven't had that philosophical underpinning. But a lot of people are still really skeptical and afraid of artificial intelligence and don't want to touch it with the 10-foot pole. Some people still in our audience think QR codes are the devil because they were used for like the vaccine passport and stuff. But what do you say to folks like that are hesitant about AI and in turn are not even taking advantage of what it has to offer?
I totally get it. I really do. And I was one of those people, and I decided to take a look at it to see what it was all about and to really understand where things are headed. I mean, you really have to take a look at the future and see like what the trends are. And I mean, people said the same thing about the internet when it first came out. They said that it will. Some people said it would never work. It would never take off. People thought that home computers would never. No one who would want a home computer. That like so. AI is just the next step in all of that, and it's really just a tool. Now there are companies out there that are doing things that I disagree with, that are building what I would consider to be like Skynet from Terminator. They're building generative intelligence systems that are that by all like appearances are scary and might seem actually sentient and are seem malevolent at times, and that's scary. I don't like how Boston Robotics is developing AI tracking systems to be able to use in combat with all their robotic assassins. Like I'm not big on that, but things like large language models, which are really just not, it's just a huge knowledge base. They're extremely helpful. I'm actually getting a master's degree in divinity from Liberty University right now as just another thing that I'm doing of many things. And there's no instruction whatsoever. And I am, reading all these ancient texts and trying to understand, but we don't really have professors that teach us anything. We read and then we do assignments, and I'm bouncing my ideas off of Chat GPT to understand like the historical theological context of what's happening in this scripture or that, and it has a unbelievable knowledge base. So like you're really talking about all human knowledge in a place where you can interact with a machine that can give, and it's not giving you its perspective, it's giving you all accumulated perspectives from its knowledge base, which all comes from human interaction. So I would say it's just a tool. If you use it as a tool. Now, some people use these tools to replace human creativity, to replace their own work. A lot of students are using these tools to cheat, and that's not possible on our platform, the way that we have it set up. But I would say that they are a great enhancement to the learning experience. And there's no need to be afraid of a large language model like ChatGPT or Grok or Claude. They will ultimately replace some types of jobs, but they will create exponentially more jobs. I mean, again, the internet is a great example of how that worked. Like the internet changed how we do commerce, but ultimately it's created exponentially more commerce as a result of its existence. And I think the same thing about the AI stuff. I mean, I am not for pushing AI unbridled. In fact, this is a great segue into my next point. I've actually produced a feature-length animated film that's coming out this year. Cool. It's called The Book of Atlas, and it is completely AI animated and image generated with mostly AI music. There's a little bit of my music in there, but mostly it's all AI generated music. Wow. And it is all about this subject and about what happens when you have unbridled AI and the dangers of that. It's essentially like, I want you to think of like the Crypto Avengers. Okay, so think about like a crypto themed superhero film. Cool. That is a libertarian manifesto that takes on the subject of unbridled artificial intelligence. It's a fantasy, sci-fi, cyber mythic, epic event, and it's coming out this year. We're submitting portions of it to film festivals right now.
Nice.
And, but yeah, so I'm very much on that trip of not wanting unbridled AI, but I do appreciate the tools for what they can do.
It's wild how things advance so quickly, because I'm recalling the good old days during at post Ron Paul revolution. Remember the Silver Circle? How easy would that film have been? If you had the story, you just pop it into AI platform instead of all the meticulous hours of CGI and computer graphics and stuff. It's just wild what's at our fingertips now. Well,
I
one
was
thing,
in that movie.
yeah, that's right. That's right. One thing I foresee happening is, a wise man once said the pendulum swings from the left to the right. So
Very
I
wise,
think,
very handsome too.
I think it's going to things are going to shift heavy AI, heavy social online influence. And of course, pre-COVID, post-COVID, it's much more Zoom oriented. People are starting to come back into the office, but tons of people are working from home. It's shifting, and there's always going to be this throwback to, all right, that feels good, and we can connect, but it's impersonal. And there's going to be this throwback to we just want to get back to going to the in-person event, sitting around the campfire. But it always harmonizes in a way, and then you can take the best of both worlds and create an opportunity to connect, to share ideas, to ping the large language model to get instant information, to settle a debate or whatever. But now we're back in the in-person reality as much as possible.
And that's something beautiful about Firefly too, is that we have a system in place to help proliferate the creation of chapters, in-person chapters, so that homeschooling families can.
Oh, that's what those mean. Yeah, I see that there on the menu. Chapters. Cool.
So any more than 3 students, and you have a chapter. So even in one family could essentially be a chapter.
Huh.
But we want people to get together. We want them to connect. We want to give them the tools to find each other based on like-minded values, and not just in their own geographical local area, but all over the world. This is really a huge community building tool. But the in-person learning is important. Like, you have hundreds of thousands of teachers have left the public school system in the last 4 years, and not because necessarily they wanted to. Many of them retired way earlier than they had planned to, and some of them just could not stand to continue to compromise their values and morals to acquiesce to the draconian demands of the public school system and its perverse edicts. And so you have all of these, like an army of teachers out there that want to share their gifts and want to work with kids. And so Firefly will be a way for them to connect locally in person and teach in person, as well as put their courses on our site.
Cool.
Bravo.
Is it? Are you going to be building it on top of the Ethereum blockchain, the tokens and stuff?
Yeah. So the first that decision is being made right now, actually.
Big decision.
We are leaning heavily towards an L2 Ethereum token starting out. We do have plans long term to build out our own original L1 blockchain, a Firefly blockchain, and we've already written the white paper for that, and we're including that in our value proposition, because we're just starting another seed round right now. We raised money 2 years ago, and we've been building since then, and so we're doing another round right now, and that's part of the value proposition. So yeah, it's very, very exciting project.
Right on. Is that mic equipped to hear a song, you think? Will it come through okay?
Oh yeah, if you want to hear something.
Okay, cool. All right, well, first of course we do. Let's if you want to share a bit about your musical background, what your influences were, maybe the history, being a singer-songwriter for the Ron Paul Revolution, some of the cool events and stuff. And then we'd love to hear a song or two from you.
Got the Ron Paul sticker, it looks like.
Oh yeah, this is the one. This is still the same guitar. It's funny. This guitar got destroyed 2 years ago. I was in DC for the Rage Against the War Machine rally, and it was Ron Paul was there, and Tulsi Gabbard and Gerald Celente and Roger Waters from Pink Floyd was part of that event, and I was playing at it, and on my way there, I checked my guitar. I usually check my guitar. I have an airline approved case. It's it's made of iron basically, and I get to my hotel in DC and I open it up to retune the instrument, and somebody had reached into the sound hole and had ripped all of the electronics out of it.
Jeez.
And they completely destroyed the preamp and everything inside. And I was running, and this is a Saturday night, right? And so Sunday was when the show was, and right in front of the Lincoln Memorial, and I was running around Alexandria all morning long trying to find somebody to fix this guitar, and the only guy I could find couldn't fix it, and I had to rent a guitar from Guitar Center. But I've traveled thousands of times, and have never had anything like that happen. But somebody deliberately reached in there and ripped everything out.
You think it was a sabotage move?
I absolutely do. Because
Wow.
I got a lot of hate for that event because, it was calling for an end to war. So everybody was, like saying I'm some kind of Russian, Russian collusion sympathizer or something.
Oh
I don't
my
know.
God.
They were calling me all kinds of names, but I'm like, I just don't want people bombing babies anymore. Like, how is that pro Russia? I'm just against war at all phases, at all costs. So. And I still stand on that. I felt that way 15 years ago, and I feel that way today. But yeah, so for the folks that don't know me, I've been playing music professionally since 2004. Around 2000, end of 2006, I had a major awakening and epiphany that set me on just a complete tailspin down into the dark ocean of information about what's really going on in the world. And it was like devastating for me to discover all these things, because my bubble got popped big time, and I was very naive and very much in the dark. But my reaction to this information was to get involved, to devote my life to speaking truth. So that was something that was necessary to happen in my life and in my story. And so I've traveled all over the world. I've played in every state in the continental U.S. and other countries as well. And in 2008, I played at an event with Ron Paul in D.C. at the Revolution March, and really saw that there's this huge movement of people that care about the same things that I did and do. And so I started, opening for Ron Paul at different events. And we always just seemed to be put together on the bill of whatever event we were both at. They would always put me right on before him, and that translated into me traveling with him and opening for him during the presidential campaign. And I played with him at, I think, over several dozen major events and thousands of people, and developed a really beautiful following. I have wonderful fans, and just who care about freedom and care about liberty. So I've been, over the last few years, my focus hasn't been as much on music. I've done other things. I've done a lot of advocacy for medical freedom and cannabis freedom. As far as a medical treatment for different diseases. I was a hemp farmer for a time. I had a commercial hemp farm. And now, but I've also been very much involved in the blockchain sector, and I'm a big blockchain evangelist as well. And so building Firefly has been a result of all of that. It's been a multifaceted journey, and but I'm still writing songs. I mean, most of my songs that I've been writing recently have all been more worship based. So I mean, you guys know my music, so it's like the same sort of style. Only it's about God, and God's the center of my life. And I'm getting a master's in divinity. I don't know what God's gonna do with me when that degree is done, but I'm sure He has some ministry for me to do. And so I've written an entire album, and I'm in the process of recording it right now. And I could play you a song if you guys want to hear it.
Let's go.
Okay, so this is called "Grace Over Me," and this song was really special to me because it came about after just a really beautiful experience I had with the Lord that I needed at the right time. When the world says you're nothing, He'll stand by your side. When each door you approach slams hard in your face, He opens His wide. When the world says be silent, God gives you a song. He sits you high on the top of a mountain of praise till the world sings along. And somewhere below, deep inside where you go, He's always there waiting for you. So don't try to be perfect, 'cause that's not the goal. For the one who is perfect say that you're broken beyond all repair. God shows you the way and brings peace to your day and answers your prayers. When you hear that you're fallen, and that's all there is, He's ready to bless, so stand and confess to all that you hear. And deep down inside, with the hurt and the pride, He's ready to help you let go. So don't try to be perfect, just give Him control. For the one who is perfect created your soul, and you'll live forever where the many are one, and God is forever within us all, because He gave us His Son. And I feel His grace, I feel His grace, I feel His grace over me. Well, there was a time when I thought I would break under the weight of my crimes. For offenses I made, the penance was paid, back to the beginning of time. So who cares if I'm perfect, as long as I'm whole? For the God of mercy delivers my soul, and I'll live forever where the many are one. And God, you're forever within me, all because You gave me Your Son. And I feel Your grace, I feel Your grace, I feel Your grace over me. Over me.
Woo!
Heck yeah. Well, I should say heaven yeah. Good stuff. That's beautiful.
Thanks, man.
JP hitting some gospel. Let's go.
Yeah, I got a whole album of that stuff. I put a song out last year and a half ago called "Son of Man." That was the first one. But yeah, I've got a whole album that I'm doing.
I saw, and what a powerful moment here. Walking on water and calming the storm. Pretty cool. And then Peter coming around, full faith. Well, I guess not full faith, but can you play that one for us? Yeah, he was close to full faith, but then he comes around. You want to play that one for us? We got about 5 more minutes before we wrap up. I'd love to hear this Son of Man.
Oh, sure.
Good stuff. All right, yeah, and again, guys, join us for the Exit and Build Land Summit number 5 at PolyFace Farms. We're going to be hanging out with Joel Salatin, Daniel Salatin, and Jordan Page. Will be headlining a concert Friday night, the 23rd, right? The 23rd. And I'm going to ask him to do a duet, A Message of Freedom. So I hope you got that one still in the repertoire, because that
I wouldn't have it any other way, my friend.
I'd love to sing that one with you. Okay, good. All right, well, let's hear Son of Man. Let's hit some more JC tunes. They're beautiful.
Okay, just give me just a second here.
Is that your studio or what? You just hanging out there? You get studio time on the reg?
That's what I do.
I live in the studio.
All right. Let me just tune this up again real quick. I think I was hammering it out on that last one. So this song this song, you know, I hadn't written a song in 2 years, from 2020 to 2022, and I was just feeling down, and you know, for me, not writing a song in 2 years is like 20 years, and then I got COVID like really bad, or whatever the bioweapon really is. I got it so bad that I lost my voice for 6 months, and
Oh my
I was
gosh.
at a Bible study, and because I couldn't sing at all, you know, and I was like, you know, who am I if I'm not like the guy with the guitar, you know, and the question came up, you know, what does God want from you in the Bible study? And I thought to myself, that's a great freaking question, you know, like, what do you want from me? And I heard a voice in my mind say, I want you to stop trying to figure it out and just let me guide you. And I said to him, you know, are you telling me that I can stop trying to figure this out? All right, I'm in. I'm sold. Yeah, I'll do that. That's good. And then, you know, a month after that, I had just amazing experience where the Holy Spirit just touched me and gave me a song, and it was the first song I'd written in 2 years, and it was a worship song. It was called "Lord, If You're Willing," and then a week later, I heard this sound in my head. It was like a chant and a stomp. It was like, whoa, whoa, boom, tsh, boom, boom, tsh, over and over and over again. It was like 12 hours of this. It was maddening. And then I finally was just like, okay, fine. And I grabbed a piece of paper and a pencil, and I just knelt down on the floor and just wrote this song in like 15 minutes. Because it was just sitting there. It was pounding on the door of my consciousness. And yeah, so this is one of my absolute favorites. This is Son of Man. So in between, what you're not going to hear is that chant, because it's in between each line of the verses. But you know, if you listen to the song on YouTube or Amazon or Spotify, you'll hear the chorus of voices behind me. Here we go. Well, gather ye brethren now to me. Gonna tell you about a man from Galilee. Carpenter, teacher, rebel, priest, a miracle maker, prince of peace. So where you gonna run from the mess you're in? His blood is gonna cover up all your sin. Born with the wisdom beyond his time, healing on the Sabbath was his crime. Made the paralyzed walk, made blind men see. Told Lazarus, a dead man, come to me. So where you gonna run from the mess you're in? His blood is gonna cover up all your sin, child. Come and see, come and meet the man from Galilee. Oh, sinners, raise your hands. Let me introduce you to the Son of Man. Oh, no. Blessed are the poor, come and turn your cheek, for the earth is inherited by the meek. You shall not live by your bread alone. Let the sinless amongst you cast that stone. So where you gonna run from the mess you're in? His blood is gonna cover up all your sin, child. Come and see, come and meet the man from Galilee. Oh, children, raise your hands. Let me introduce you to the Son of Man. To the sinners all in despair, turned over tables in the temple square, so his
Gather ye brethren, look and see the Messiah nailed to the hanging tree. The earth cracked open below his feet. His blood poured down upon the mercy seat. He said, I am the life, the truth, the way, and I'll rebuild this temple on the third day. Child, come and see, bear witness to the Christ from Galilee. Oh, children, see his hands, Yeshua HaMashiach, Son of Man. Oh, 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 oh. Well, gather ye brethren, come and see. Come and meet the man from Galilee.
There we are. Haha. Good stuff, man. What? That's super powerful. I love it. I love it. You hit the highlights. What a great story. Great man. Great man God. A man God, God man. That's cool that you're doing songs about your faith because it's so powerful, and it sounds like those are two things that have played a major role in your life. Your devotion to liberty, your devotion to faith, devotion to family too.
Yeah, and homesteading. That's
and
awesome.
Homesteading, the
30
quadruple.
eggs a day. That's great.
Yeah, we're getting 3 eggs a day.
Well, it depends. So, like, we have ducks. So sometimes when the ducks lay, they'll just lay a lot all at once, and then they stop. Or at least I don't know where they are. The quail usually do 3 to 4 a day, and then the chickens are around 3 to 4 a day.
Okay. I'm sorry about those ducks, man. I'm sorry you have ducks. I would gladly give my ducks up, but my children love them. And, they are just the most disgusting creatures.
They're currently, we're about to build an enclosure for all of our chickens, but right now they have decided to shelter on our front porch.
Oh yeah,
So
they
every
crap
day-
all over the porch. It's an ongoing thing. So we're getting some cattle panels
They
and
used to
building
go
that.
in the barn, and then like 2 months ago, we enclosed our barn because they were pooping over all of the like equipment in there.
Yeah.
But as soon as we closed it, they moved.
One step
To
at a
the front
time.
porch,
I
so
called and they
it's
can
all-
deliver those cattle panels this weekend, by
that's
the way.
good.
So that's
Yeah, it's all a learning process. Did
Yeah.
you say you're in Washington now?
We are, yeah. We're up in
Oh,
northeastern
okay.
Washington, almost to Canada.
Oh,
And,
okay.
I bet it's beautiful up there.
For some
Oh,
reason, I
dude,
thought you
it's
lived in
great.
Indiana with your family.
We were in Indiana for about 4 years, and then we moved out to Montana. We were there about 2, and then we've been out here
Ooh.
about 9 years. And it's this is definitely home. This is where we've planted roots and raising our kids, and it's just it's a great community. You know, like a lot of the things that you guys talk about in Exit and Build, you know, we're doing up here with our community, and yeah, it's just a real blessing to have found this place and to be up here. We're we've been wanting to be self-sufficient for many years, but we didn't have our own place, and so that we could really develop the way we wanted to.
Yeah.
And so, but now that we have we had this place for this is the 4th year, and you know, we're developing some of our pastures, and you know, putting in a big fence. We're gonna do at least about like an acre of growable, you know, soil. To feed our family and the community as well. So, you know,
Congratulations. Yeah.
I definitely, you know, identify with the principles and that you guys are espousing with Exit and Build, and I'm super stoked to come and perform and to see you guys again. It's been a while, and
Been a long
just
time.
real happy to be invited to come and do that. Yeah.
Cool. Well, we'll have to have you share some stories and stuff in addition to the music. I think
Yeah.
we'll get a lot out of hearing what you've managed to build. And you know, after year 4, what are we on, year 3?
We're also on year 4.
On
June
year
will be
4,
our
it
4th
finally
year.
starts to
Yeah.
clicking finally
The
after
soil's
3 or
been
4
built
years.
takes
Everything up
time.
until that is experimentation and learning from failures, basically.
Yeah, I think I'm going to write a book someday of what not to do when building intentional.
Yeah,
community.
we've had some community tribulation.
We recently had a community member tell us that our homestead is the worst intentional community they've ever lived at.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to make that my new slogan.
It's the new tagline, Radical Roots Ranch, the worst community you'll ever live in. Anyway, we'll save that for another show. Yeah. All right, Jordan. Hey, so come out and learn from us, everybody. No, it's all
learn from Joel Salatin.
It's all lessons. All right, Jordan. We appreciate you, brother, and looking forward to seeing you. So glad that you're going to be part of the event.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. We're excited to have you.
All right, peace, buddy.
God bless you all. See you
later. God bless. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. We're going to do a vulnerable show here pretty soon.
Yeah.
And just
John and I have been
barrel.
going through it the last few weeks.
We've been through the rigmarole, but we're all hyped up and programmed on Napoleon Hill and JC and all the messaging that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And within every adversity lies the seed of an equal or greater benefit. And then what's the scripture that the struggle builds character and that character builds faith? That's quite paraphrasing, but we too shall survive, not just survive, but thrive and learn many lessons. Okay, guys, exitandbuildlandsummit.com is the website, exitandbuildlandsummit.com. It's going down May 23rd and the 24th. And then there's a really special mastermind event. You can get VIP tickets that give you access to the mastermind where we're going to hang out with Joel all day on Sunday and get to pick his brain about all sorts of good stuff. So again, it's the 23rd and the 24th. Coming up in about a month or so, a little over a month. And then if you want to join us for the 25th, you'll have the opportunity to do an offsite immersive mastermind. Food will be provided each day that you come. Depending on which tickets you get, you'll be able to join us the 23rd and 24th with meals provided. And the 25th, there's meals provided as well. All right, guys, exitandbuildlandsummit.com. This is the Live Free Now show, bringing you the news, views, tips, and tools you can use to live free and prosperous life. And thanks for joining today, Becca.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And if anyone has questions about the Exit and Build Land Summit, feel free to reach out to our team. I'm also happy to help as a resource. We have a great speaker lineup, a lot of awesome workshops scheduled, and there are still tickets left. So if you'd like to join or if you'd like to sponsor, there's like a few tables left too. So if you're in the Virginia area and you want to join us, or if you're looking for something that will help inspire you and also be super informative, we've put together a lot of great content over that weekend, and you got to come in person to engage. We're not streaming it this year. We usually do a live stream.
That's right.
We do not have the internet flexibility per usual setup.
We are going to record it though, and it'll be available later. All right. Thanks everybody. Peace and freedom. Bye.